Genevieve, let's talk about the mask of addiction and the mask of recovery.
There is a discrepancy for each of us between the internal self and the personas we project to others and the outside world. Personal health, wholeness, stress levels, and integrity hinge in great measure on the degree to which these private and public selves can be brought into harmony.
That's deep.
The reconciliation is potentially life-saving for personas seeking the metamorphosis from active addiction to long-term recovery. Addiction is a unique medical disorder whose effective management requires living as authentically and honestly as possible.
Yeah, the goal is to be authentic and the goal is to be honest. How do you become successful? How do you make more money? How do you do better in life? By being honest with yourself and other people, by being open-minded to new ideas and new ways of doing things, and by being willing to execute those ways. HOW, honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. Please continue.
And yet, it is that precise aspect that leaves many people viewing recovery from addiction as a priceless gift that far transcends freedom from destructive drug use.
Powerful. Please continue.
What makes this journey towards authenticity so much more daunting within addiction recovery compared to the parallel journey for others is the degree of duplicity at the very heart of addiction experience.
Wow.
Addiction hollows one out, removes our true identity, leaving only the mask of the moment. With every repetition of use, the drug becomes more powerful and the self becomes weaker. The boundaries of fantasy and the reality begin to blur.
Scary.
And then the chemical wears off, leaving only accumulating secrets in its wake.
We lose our sense of self. We lose our identity. It's frightening.
That's what, for me, proves the point that drugs are a symptom of the addiction.
Absolutely.
Because once the drugs are gone, you have to deal with this kind of aftermath.
Yeah, and even people that are not addicts have different masks. They wear a mask at work, they wear a mask at home, and these masks aren't good or bad. It's the fact that we want to find our true, authentic selves and begin to remove many of the dysfunctional masks. Please continue.
To be addicted is to be an actor, a chameleon, a performer, whose changing faces camouflage the centrality of the drug relationship and its growing consequences. The mask hide 1,000 broken promises to self and others.
And those broken promises destroy self-esteem and self-confidence.
Right. They provide a veneer of normalcy and can exude charms that allow us to manipulate or persuade others. The masks become associated with various scripts and the dialogue that we use to avoid being discovered. They feign laughter when tears are flowing inside, and they project rage to cover up our fear and guilt.
Yeah, we're laughing while we're dying inside. That's true addiction.
And we have no idea how to really understand the emotions that we're feeling at the time, and that's why it's important to really feel all the pain that's going on in the beginning of sobriety.
Yeah, the main reason why addicts use drugs and alcohol is to change how they feel. Take a good feeling and make it better, take a sad feeling and make it less, or have no feelings at all and make themselves numb.
But none of that is permanent. So.
Absolutely.
To be addicted is to be an imposter, to wear so many masks for so long that any semblance of a true self exists only as a faint memory. The masks become thickly layered, convoluted, and more elaborately constructed over time, each seeking to convey sanity, stability, and self-control as these very qualities crumble to ashes.
They're gone.
The masks and their performances often become prisoners of one's own creation.
And now we're trapped.
Escaping this state of imprisoned imposterhood requires facing the terror of reality, the terror that nothing, or at least nothing of value, exists behind the masks. Who am I?
Who am I?
This dread to remove the mask is so great and can rarely be faced alone. There is no image more terrifying to the addicted person than the secrets and pain combined with wreckage of the past cast upon their soul.
Wow.
Confronting the landscape without the aid of allies can provoke breakthroughs of self-perception and repugnance. I always get that
That's
wrong.
fine. Self-repugnance and self-perception are so overwhelming that few can traverse and survive this emotional territory alone. Isn't that terrible?
Yeah. And the good news today,
Give me some good news.
the good news today is that no one can make this journey by themselves.
They cannot. We need allies. We need a team.
No one need die from staring into a mirror and seeing only pain, numbness, fear, or nothingness back. Communities of recovery are spreading around the globe and can be quickly accessed by a phone call or computer click.
That's great. That's true.
The journey shared is not an easy one, but it is one that can be filled with joy and great meaning and sense of purpose.
This is the road less traveled. It's the more difficult path, but it's the honorable and it's a spiritual path.
but simply a future day is possible when you can be comfortable within your own skin and when your lost self can be recovered, or more likely a new positive self will be forged.
Yeah, Genevieve 2.0, your new version, right?
Right. Recovery is a process of rebuilding the self, one piece at a time, one moment at a time. You can become someone brand new in your recovery, version 2.0.
I love that.
Someone that you can truly like and be proud of.
I like this person.
These masks of addiction do not disappear overnight.
They do not.
Other masks will accompany you through your recovery process.
And that's normal.
The early masks of recovery, like the more primitive ones that accompanied addiction, will need to be slowly peeled away like the layers of an onion. The social stigma, guilt, the internalized shame from addiction will force some into sustained lives of secrecy. They will become afraid to grow and change. That's unhealthy, although bad is very familiar.
Yes.
And that's what I identified with, is that, and it's really the same with anyone that relapses early on, which is also normal, but is that you're still acting like an addict. It's like what we hear all the time.
Yeah.
You're still acting secretive.
Disease is still strong.
Yeah. You still want to steal.
Toxic.
You still want to fight with everybody. It's just not knowing how to cope.
Yeah.
What recovery promises is the opportunity to live a more authentic life. It offers freedom to be yourself, freedom to throw away the masks that hold you back.
Freedom from active addiction.
Such authenticity comes from escaping the ghosts of the past and living and loving as simply and honestly as possible. As self and serenity are to be found in recovery, it is discovery that something good exists inside of you and within each moment.
That's true. There's something good that's inside of you that's been kind of covered up.
That all humans are wounded, vulnerable, and perfect beings,
Yes.
and that profound meaning and connection to others can flow from acceptance of that mutual imperfection.
We heal with people and through people, and some of the people that have been hurt the most can heal the most.
There is something deeply human and courageous about recovering from one's deepest wounds. There is nothing more noble than fighting addiction and winning.
Say that. It's so noble to fight addiction and win.
Recovery is simultaneously a retrieval of lost parts of self, discovery of previously hidden treasures within and beyond the self, and conscious reconstruction of a new positive character and identity.
Yes.
To become a person in recovery requires first becoming a person, a real person.
An authentic person.
There is much to be learned from the process of rebirth and self-acceptance.
Like the phoenix.
This is the road less traveled. This is the more difficult path, and not for the faint of heart. This battle provides deep wisdom and increased insight. Everyone who tries and works towards deeper understanding risks knowing the truth. There are lessons buried within this collective experience that are worth sharing with the world. You will become braver, stronger, more mature, more successful, and even better than you ever thought possible.
If you leave drugs and alcohol alone, you will become braver, stronger, more mature, and more successful, and even better than you ever thought possible. And that's true with recovery. Recovery gives and addiction takes. Addiction is a thief. It steals your credibility. It steals your self-esteem. It steals your money. It steals your sense of future. And recovery gives. It brings all those things back and many more. Thanks for reading.